I'm George from MovieWeb. How are you both?
Hi,
What's up?
George. Good. Nice to meet you.
Likewise, excited to be here and to talk about this. We don't have a lot of time, so we'll jump right in. Sev, I wanted to ask you, I can't help but ask, it feels like the series setting is setting some stuff up for the future, and there's a lot of Mephisto rumors out there, and I'm curious what, if anything, you feel comfortable talking about in relation to those ideas and
Okay,
thoughts.
quick question for you. Have you seen all 6 episodes?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I mean, man, and you're gonna publish this after the shows come out.
Yeah, well, yes, we're under embargo for the video, but depending on yes, we'll follow whatever embargo rules you guys have.
Okay,
So
cool. Because I think if we're gonna talk about Big M, I mean Marvel will tell you, but I think that gets published after the show has been fully released. But oh man, I mean, look, he's an iconic character and only become more iconic just with the rumor mill. I personally was a fan watching WandaVision and trying to make sense of it all myself. Um, it's not the comic choice of who Parker Robbins is allied with, and that was one of the reasons that Marvel and all of us were like, man, it might be kind of interesting to do a little twist here and have Parker's connection be to Big M, and beyond just the fact that it's unexpected and fun in that way. Thematically, it makes so much sense if you think about what Riri's storyline is and what her arc is and what the show deals with this season when it comes to ambition and making choices. Where you're pitting selflessness versus selfishness. It all kind of came together to make a quite exciting idea at the core. And obviously there's no shortage of where the story can go and where he can show up. And there's I mean I'll certainly be watching for sure.
yeah, it's a great answer. Thank you so much for going so in depth and also tying it to plot elements and like the story elements. That's really well said. I want to ask Zoe on the it's kind of a similar front. As we can't watch these things and not see the big picture, right? That's just part of what's happened with Marvel at this stage. It's hard not to think about like Black Panther 3 stuff and like where we're possibly headed there. If you have any updates or interesting tidbits you can share kind of on that side of things.
Oh man, unfortunately I have to say I'm in your seat of just being a fan and waiting to find out as well. Like I can't wait to see where that story could go and where those characters could go. And then of course where Riri could go. I think our task is always tell the best version of this story for this contained, series. And then the question is what doors have you left to open that then can be walked through in the future? And when Marvel's at its best, I think we are letting the story organically unfold. So wherever we see her again, it should be where it feels natural and where this character, of course, we want to see her interact with other characters in the MCU. So little doors have been left open, as you well know, and I can't wait to see which ones they walk through.
So when you kind of talk about it in that way, I like this doors analogy, and Sev, maybe you can speak to this too. There are so many ways that this all interconnects. And when you're approaching it from the beginning, how do you guys, like the brain trust, the team, the larger team, come together and talk about, so here's what we can do, here's what we can't do, here's the doors that are open, here's the doors that are closed. This is in a box and it's locked and you can never touch it. Like that kind of stuff.
I gotta be honest, like as Proximity, which is my company that I founded with Ryan and Zinzi Kugler, we were guest producers on this show, working with Marvel with Zoe and Brad Winterbaum and Kevin Feige. Early on, there'd be so many times where we would pitch something, like we would pitch it, hey, like this is early blue skies brainstorming days, and we'd get in response, oh well, we're gonna do that in X project or X movie. And it was like, oh wow, like that's a very unique storytelling, situation where like you're not only developing something to be a good show, but you have to kind of be mindful of other things that are going to happen or a character that you might want to use is going to be somewhere else. So it makes for certainly a fun challenge, and it also just makes it that much more exciting because the show by design is fairly contained for Riri. It's in a corner of the MCU that we haven't spent a lot of time in, if any. But as you watch the show, I think you'll come to appreciate that there's actually quite a lot of not only like connections in the form of Easter eggs, which certainly there's a lot, but there's a lot of things that we touch upon that I have no doubt are going to come back over and over again.
I have to ask because Sinners is behind you and it was excellent. Um, is there ever going to be a revisit to anything that happened in Sinners, or is Sinners a one-off? Is that just like kind of like an isolated project, and or do you guys talk about, because you've done so many things that had sequels and expanded work? Do you
And
guys
I
discuss
can
that?
tell you, man, like from the very beginning of Sinners, from the moment that Ryan first pitched me that project, the only thing we've ever talked about is making one hell of a movie. We talked about Sinners always in the guise of being like a meal we're serving to the audience. We when we shot the movie, our working title was grilled cheese because we were really trying to make something simple or a little bit more contained, especially compared to Wakanda and things like that. But at the end of the day, we want to serve a really good meal to the audience. At no point have we ever talked about a second course. For us, it was always about just like really give the best possible experience for people to see in theaters and now at home. And as far as any other projects, that's not something we've ever talked about.
Well, I have to wrap. Thank you both. Great work, and it was really fun to talk to you. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us.